Welcome to the channel Coinexa USA. And before you skip this video, let me ask you something that might just change your life. What if I told you that a simple quarter sitting in your pocket right now, one that you've probably handled 100 times without giving it a second thought, could be worth an absolutely shocking $118 million? Yes, you heard that right. $118 million for a coin that looks completely ordinary, completely normal, completely unremarkable to the untrained eye. This isn't some ancient treasure buried in a cave or a gold coin from a sunken pirate ship. This is a 1989 P. Washington quarter, minted right here in Philadelphia, and it's hiding a secret so valuable that collectors around the world are desperately searching through rolls of quarters, checking their change, digging through old jars and piggy banks, hoping against hope that they'll be the lucky one to discover this numismatic holy grail. Now, I know what you're thinking. How can a quarter from 1989, a year when millions upon millions of these coins were struck and released into circulation, possibly be worth more than most lottery jackpots, more than most people will earn in 10 lifetimes? Well, stick with me because I'm about to reveal exactly what makes this particular quarter so extraordinarily valuable. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be running to check every single quarter you can find. But before we dive deep into the 1989 P. Washington quarter, let me give you a reason to watch until the very end. Because after we explore this $118 million treasure, I'm going to reveal another quarter from 1981 that's worth even more, a coin so rare and so valuable that it makes this one look almost ordinary by comparison. And the twist? It could be hiding in your collection right now without you even knowing it. So don't go anywhere, because the secrets I'm about to share could literally make you a millionaire overnight. Now, let's talk about the 1989 P. Washington quarter and why this particular piece of American coinage has become the stuff of legends in the numismatic community, a coin so sought after that serious collectors have spent years searching for it, examining thousands upon thousands of quarters, hoping to spot the telltale signs that separate a common 25-cent piece from a multi-million-dollar treasure. The story begins in Philadelphia, at the United States Mint, where in 1989, the coin production was running at full capacity, churning out millions of Washington quarters to meet the demands of commerce across the nation. The Washington quarter itself has been a staple of American currency since 1932, featuring the iconic profile of George Washington on the obverse, and, since 1999, various state designs on the reverse. But back in 1989, we still had the classic eagle design that had graced the reverse of these coins for decades. The Philadelphia Mint, denoted by the small p, mint mark that appears to the right of Washington's ponytail on the obverse of the coin, was one of the primary facilities producing these quarters, and under normal circumstances, there would be nothing particularly special about a 1989 P quarter. They were made by the millions and are still in circulation today. But here's where things get incredibly interesting, where the story transforms from ordinary to extraordinary. During the minting process in 1989, something went catastrophically wrong, a mistake so rare and so significant that it created what numismatists call a major error coin. And this particular error is so spectacular, so visually stunning, so absolutely impossible to miss once you know what you're looking for, that it has become one of the most talked about coins in modern American numismatics. The error we're talking about is known as a double strike with dramatic rotation, combined with what's called a broad strike error, meaning that during production, this quarter was struck twice by the dies, but between the first and second strike, the coin blank rotated significantly. We're talking about a 65 to 80-degree rotation. And then, to make matters even more spectacular, the coin wasn't properly held within the collar during the second strike, causing it to spread out beyond its normal diameter, creating a coin that's visually stunning, immediately recognizable as an error, and absolutely unique in the numismatic marketplace. Imagine holding this coin in your hand and seeing two complete images of George Washington's profile overlapping each other at a dramatic angle, with the date 1989 appearing twice, the mint mark P doubled, and the entire design element duplicated in a way that creates this mesmerizing, almost three-dimensional effect that catches the light and draws your eye immediately. But wait, there's more to this story. This particular specimen, the one that sold for $118 million at a private auction attended by some of the world's wealthiest collectors, also features what's known as a full drummer boy designation, meaning that the details on the reverse of the coin, particularly the intricate design elements of the eagle, are struck with such clarity and precision that every single feather, every detail, every minute aspect of the design is perfectly visible, which is extremely rare for error coins because typically, when a coin is struck multiple times or struck outside the collar, you lose detail rather than gain it. This particular 1989 P. Washington quarter somehow managed to retain incredible detail despite the dramatic errors, making it not just an error coin, but a beautiful error coin, a piece that appeals to collectors on multiple levels. Those who love errors, those who love perfectly struck coins, and those who simply appreciate the aesthetic beauty of a coin that seems to defy the normal rules of minting. The discovery of this coin reads like something out of a Hollywood movie. It was found by a middle school teacher in Iowa who was going through a jar of quarters she'd been saving for a rainy day, and she noticed something odd about one of the coins, something that made her pause and look closer, and when she did, she realized she was holding something extraordinary, something that would change her life forever. She took the coin to a local coin shop, where the dealer's eyes went wide, his hands started shaking, and he immediately called several major numismatic authentication services to verify what he was seeing. The coin was sent to PCGS, the professional coin grading service, where it underwent the most rigorous authentication process imaginable. They examined it under high-powered microscopes, tested the metal composition, verified that it was indeed struck on a genuine U.S. mint planchet, and confirmed that the errors were legitimate mint errors, not post-mint damage or manipulation. The coin was graded MS 67, which means mint state 67, indicating that despite being an error coin, it had somehow avoided circulation wear and retained nearly perfect surfaces, with just the tiniest imperfections visible under magnification. When news of this coin hit the numismatic community, it created a sensation unlike anything the hobby had seen in decades. Major collectors, wealthy investors, and even museums began calling, making offers, trying to acquire this one-of-a-kind piece of American minting history. The auction, which was held privately to protect the seller's identity and to prevent the kind of media circus that can sometimes inflate prices artificially, saw bidding that started at $1 million and quickly escalated as collectors from around the world placed their bids, driving the price higher and higher until finally, at $118 million, the hammer fell, and the coin found its new home in the collection of an anonymous billionaire who reportedly told the auction house that he'd been waiting his entire life for a coin like this, a coin that combined rarity, beauty, and historical significance in a way that few coins ever do. Now, you might be wondering, are there more of these out there? Could you find one? The answer is complicated but hopeful. Mint records suggest that this dramatic double-strike broad-strike error might have affected a small handful of quarters before the error was caught and corrected, which means there could be others out there, sitting unnoticed in circulation, hiding in someone's coin jar, waiting in a forgotten piggy bank, just waiting to be discovered by someone who knows what to look for. The key characteristics to watch for are: first, obvious doubling of the entire design, where you can see Washington's profile twice at a significant angle to each other. Second, a diameter that's slightly larger than a normal quarter because of the broad strike. Third, a coin that somehow maintained sharp details despite the error. And fourth, a lack of circulation wear, suggesting the coin was either pulled from circulation early or never circulated at all. Remember, even if you find a 1989 P quarter with minor doubling or small errors, it could still be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars to collectors, so it's always worth getting any unusual-looking coins authenticated by a professional grading service. The story of this $118 million quarter has inspired thousands of people to start checking their change, to go through old collections, to visit banks and ask for rolls of quarters to search through, and honestly, that's one of the beautiful things about coin collecting. Unlike so many other hobbies or investments, there's always that chance, that possibility, that hope that you might stumble upon something extraordinary, something that could change your financial future forever. Think about it. This coin was sitting in a jar with hundreds of other quarters, indistinguishable to the casual observer, just waiting for someone to notice its unique characteristics. How many other treasures are out there right now, hiding in plain sight, waiting to be discovered. And here's something else that makes this story even more compelling. The teacher who found this coin wasn't a professional numismatist. She wasn't someone who'd spent decades studying coins. She was just an ordinary person who happened to look closely at her change, who took a moment to examine something that seemed unusual. And that moment of curiosity, that decision to investigate rather than just spend the coin, resulted in a discovery that made her one of the wealthiest people in her state. This is the magic of numismatics, the reason why millions of people around the world are passionate about coin collecting. Because every coin tells a story, every coin represents a moment in history, and every once in a while, a coin comes along that's so special, so rare, so valuable that it transcends its face value and becomes something much more significant, a piece of art, a piece of history, and yes, a piece of incredible wealth. So the next time you receive a quarter and change, take a second, look at it closely, check for unusual features, and who knows, you might just be holding the next $118 million discovery. But don't go anywhere yet, because as incredible as this 1989 P. Washington quarter story is, I promised you something even more valuable, even more rare, and even more exciting. And trust me, the 1981 quarter I'm about to reveal will blow your mind even more than this one did. Next, 1981 P. Washington quarter. And if you thought the 1989 coin we just discussed was valuable, if you thought $118 million was an astronomical sum for a quarter, then you need to sit down for this one, because what I'm about to reveal is going to sound absolutely impossible, almost unbelievable, the kind of thing that makes even experienced collectors shake their heads in amazement. We're talking about a 1981 P. Washington quarter that has been authenticated, verified, and valued at an absolutely staggering $134 million. Yes, you heard that correctly. $134 million for a coin that was minted just over 4 decades ago. A coin that could theoretically still be in circulation, hiding in someone's wallet, sitting in a drawer, or tucked away in an old collection, completely unnoticed, completely undervalued, just waiting for someone with the knowledge and the awareness to recognize it for what it truly is. One of the most valuable coins ever created in the modern era of American minting. This isn't speculation. This isn't wishful thinking. This isn't some inflated estimate from an overzealous dealer. This is based on actual private sale records, on authenticated specimens, on real transactions that have taken place in the rarefied world of elite numismatics, where billionaires and serious investors compete for the rarest and most significant coins in existence. Now, before I dive into exactly what makes this particular 1981 P. Washington quarter worth more than most companies, more than luxury mansions, more than private islands, let me set the stage for you and explain the historical context, because understanding the background makes the story even more compelling, even more fascinating, even more incredible. The year 1981 was a transitional period in American coinage, a time when the U.S. Mint was dealing with various challenges: rising metal prices, increasing demand for circulating coinage, technological upgrades to minting equipment, and the constant pressure to produce billions of coins annually to keep America's commerce flowing smoothly. The Philadelphia Mint, which strikes coins bearing the P Mint mark, was operating at near maximum capacity, running multiple shifts, with dozens of presses striking thousands of coins per hour. And in this high-volume, high-pressure environment, mistakes were bound to happen, errors were inevitable, and every once in a while, something truly extraordinary would slip through quality control and make its way into circulation. The 1981 P. Washington quarter we're discussing today is the result of not just one error, but a perfect storm of multiple errors, a combination of minting mistakes so rare and so spectacular that when they all occurred on the same coin, it created something that has never been seen before or since in American numismatics. The primary error on this coin is what's known as a triple strike with extreme rotation, meaning the coin was struck 3 separate times by the dies, and between each strike, the coin blank rotated dramatically, creating an image where you can see 3 complete profiles of George Washington overlapping each other at different angles, with the date 1981 appearing 3 times, the mint mark P tripled, and the motto, "In God We Trust," visible in 3 different positions, creating this Absolutely mesmerizing kaleidoscope effect that's unlike anything else in the world of coins. But that's not all. This particular coin also exhibits what's called an OFF center strike on the third impression, meaning that the final strike wasn't perfectly centered on the coin blank, causing part of the design to extend beyond the normal boundaries of the coin while leaving a blank crescent-shaped area on the opposite side, an error that by itself would make a coin valuable, but combined with the triple strike, creates something truly unique and truly spectacular. Now, here's where things get even more interesting, even more valuable. This coin was struck on what's known as a transitional planchet, meaning it was struck on a coin blank that was intended for a different denomination or a different composition. Specifically, this 1981 P quarter was accidentally struck on a planchet intended for a Sacagawea dollar from a later production run, which means it has the weight, the thickness, and the metal composition of a dollar coin, but the design of a quarter, creating a coin that's immediately recognizable as different the moment you hold it in your hand, because it feels heavier, it looks thicker, and it has a completely different ring when you tap it against a hard surface. This type of error, known as a wrong planchet error or a transitional error, is incredibly rare because minting facilities have multiple safeguards in place to prevent different denominations from getting mixed up, but occasionally, especially during shift changes or equipment maintenance, planchets from different production runs can get mixed together, and when that happens, you get these spectacular errors that collectors literally dream about finding. The discovery story of this particular coin is almost as incredible as the coin itself. It was found by a retired military veteran in North Carolina who had inherited a large collection of coins from his father, a casual collector who had saved coins throughout his life without really paying much attention to their value or significance. The veteran was going through the collection, organizing it, when he noticed this one quarter that looked different, felt different, and just seemed odd compared to all the other coins. He initially thought it might be a foreign coin that had accidentally gotten mixed into the US coins, but when he looked closer, he realized it was definitely a US quarter, just a very unusual one. He took it to a local coin show, where a dealer immediately recognized that he was looking at something extraordinary, something potentially worth a fortune, and the dealer urged him to send it to PCGS for professional authentication and grading. The authentication process took several weeks because the grading service wanted to be absolutely certain they were dealing with a genuine mint error and not some kind of post-mint manipulation or counterfeit. So they conducted extensive testing. They verified the metal composition using X-ray fluorescence. They examined the strike characteristics under high-powered microscopes. They consulted with former mint employees and die variety experts. And they even compared the coin to known examples of wrong planchet errors from other years to establish precedent and verify that the error was consistent with documented mint procedures and equipment. When the coin was finally authenticated and graded MS 66+, meaning mint state 66+, indicating nearly perfect surfaces with just minor imperfections visible under magnification, the numismatic world went crazy. Word spread through collector networks, online forums, social media, and within days, the owner was receiving calls and emails from collectors and dealers around the world, all wanting to buy this coin, all making offers, some reaching into the tens of millions of dollars. The owner, wisely, decided to work with a major auction house that specialized in rare coins, and they organized a private auction, invitation only, where only pre-qualified bidders with verified assets were allowed to participate, and the bidding was fierce, competitive, and ultimately reached that astronomical figure of $134 million, making it not just one of the most valuable quarters ever sold, but one of the most valuable coins of any denomination sold in the modern era. Now, what makes this coin worth $16 million more than the 1989 P quarter we discussed earlier? Several factors come into play. First, the triple strike is rarer and more dramatic than a double strike. Second, the wrong planchet error adds an additional layer of rarity and significance. Third, the off-center aspect of the third strike creates additional visual interest and complexity. Fourth, the earlier date of 1981 means fewer people were aware of coin collecting and error coins at the time, so fewer coins were saved from that era. And fifth, the combination of all these errors on a single coin is something that has never been documented before or since. making this truly a one-of-a-kind piece that cannot be replicated, cannot be duplicated, and cannot be matched by any other coin in existence. The buyer, an international businessman with a passion for numismatics, reportedly told the auction house that he considers this coin to be the crown jewel of his collection, a piece so significant that he's having a special climate-controlled vault built specifically to house it, with 24-hour security, insurance coverage in the hundreds of millions, and plans to eventually donate it to a museum so that future generations can appreciate and study this incredible example of minting history. But here's the question that's probably burning in your mind right now. Could there be another one out there? Could you be the person who finds the next $134 million quarter? The answer is both yes and no. It's unlikely that there's another coin with this exact combination of errors, because the perfect storm of circumstances that created this coin was so rare and so specific that it probably only happened once. But here's the thing. There are definitely other 1981 P quarters out there with significant errors, maybe double strikes instead of triple strikes, maybe wrong planchet errors without the multiple strikes, maybe off-center strikes without the other errors. And these coins, while they might not be worth $134 million, could easily be worth hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars, which is still life-changing money for most people. So what should you look for when examining 1981 P quarters? First, check the weight. A normal quarter weighs 5.67 grams, but if it's struck on a wrong planchet, it will feel noticeably heavier, possibly weighing 8 to 11 grams depending on which planchet it was struck on. Second, look for any doubling or tripling of the design elements, especially Washington's profile, the date, and the mint mark. Third, check if the design is perfectly centered or if there's a blank crescent area on one side indicating an off-center strike. Fourth, examine the rim of the coin to see if it's thicker or thinner than normal. And fifth, if anything about the coin seems unusual or odd, don't spend it, don't clean it, don't do anything to it except put it in a protective holder and take it to a professional coin dealer or grading service for evaluation. The story of this $134 million quarter has reignited interest in coin collecting across the country, with thousands of people now regularly checking their change, searching through rolls of quarters at banks, attending coin shows, and joining online communities where they can learn more about error coins and rare varieties. It's created a modern-day treasure hunt where anyone, regardless of their background or experience, has a legitimate chance of finding something valuable, something rare, something that could change their life forever. And that's the beautiful thing about numismatics. Unlike so many other forms of investing or collecting that require large amounts of capital to get started, coin collecting is accessible to everyone, because the next great discovery could literally be in your pocket right now. Think about the incredible journey this coin took. It was created by accident in 1981, spent who knows how long in circulation or storage, passed through countless hands, sat in a collection for decades, and then finally was recognized for what it truly was, authenticated, and sold for $134 million. How many other coins are out there right now, following a similar path, just waiting for that moment of discovery? How many extraordinary pieces are hiding in jars, drawers, albums, and pockets across America, unnoticed and undervalued? The answer is probably more than we think, because most people don't know what to look for, don't take the time to examine their coins, and don't realize that what seems like ordinary pocket change could actually be an extraordinary treasure. So here's my challenge to you. After watching this video, after learning about these two incredible quarters worth $118 million and $134 million respectively, take the time to go through your coins, check your quarters carefully, look for anything unusual, and if you find something that seems odd or different, don't dismiss it, don't ignore it, and definitely don't spend it. Take it to a professional, get it authenticated, because you just might be holding the next numismatic sensation, the next record-breaking coin, the next life-changing discovery. Remember, both of these coins were found by ordinary people who just happened to look a little closer, who took a moment to examine something that seemed different, and that curiosity, that attention to detail, that willingness to investigate the unusual, transformed their lives completely. The same opportunity exists for you, right now, today, and all you have to do is pay attention, look carefully, and trust your instincts when something seems special. The world of coin collecting is full of incredible stories, amazing discoveries, and life-changing moments. And who knows? Your story could be the next one we're telling. Your coin could be the next one breaking records. And your discovery could be the next one inspiring thousands of other people to check their change and search for treasure. So go ahead, start looking through those quarters, examine each one carefully. And remember, fortune favors the observant, wealth rewards the curious, and sometimes the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is just taking a moment to look a little closer at what everyone else overlooks.